Hey everyone, how's your day going? Hope you're all doing fantastic. So back with another edition of the Beckett Hockey Review retro version. Today we're going to do two issues. First, we're going to be doing this issue from April 1996 with Wayne Gretzky on the cover. A nice artist rendition of Wayne Gretzky on the St. Louis Blues. So right here you can see that it's April 1996. And it was $3.50 in the U.S., $4.75 in Canada, and in Australia it was $5.95. Now, why it's priced in Australia, I have no idea. But hey, to each their own, I suppose. And then the second magazine that we'll be doing a review on, will be from the August 2007 issue of Beckett, and Mark Messier on the cover, holding the Stanley Cup in his Edmonton Oilers jersey. And on the side, please disregard this is the desktop. And on the side of that photo is him on the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Rangers. So inside of this one is the first pricing of the 06-07 The Cup. And Malcolm debuted at $3,000. That's crazy. So yeah, we'll be reviewing this one second. But first, let's focus on this one, the Wayne Gretzky issue from April of 1996. So Wayne Gretzky on the cover, really nice. On the inside is Jeremy Roenick in the Chicago Blackhawks jersey. So really cool photo right there. Tell right there, Chicago. Old school jersey. Right here is a picture of a rat. Now the background on this is that it's discussing about the Florida Panthers, who were on a run to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Colorado Avalanche in 1996. So we'll get into that in a bit later. So this is just the table of contents right here of what is in this magazine. So let's just read this quickly. Spirits up in St. Louis, so talking about Wayne Gretzky going to St. Louis, and Brett Hull was already there, and then Wayne Gretzky's arrival has ignited an already hot St. Louis card market. So this is in there as well. Year of the Rat, discussing the Florida Panthers and how their team was developing into a contender. Just a good mix of veteran leadership, solid goaltending, and just a lot of youthful exuberance at the time. Kids at play, hobbyists wanting to track potential NHL stars are keeping tabs on the Panthers' three former first-round draft picks. Okay, and South Florida collectors are infatuated with John Van Beeswick and company. So right there, legendary tour. This is a Legends tour that was happening in Western Canada and into parts of Ontario at the time. And Eric Daze. We'll be discussing Eric Daze briefly right there. So moving on, and right here is just off the bench. This is a little article on the Florida Panthers. Yeah. So this discusses how Florida was just coming into their own indie hobby. Previous to this, hobbyists tended to focus on players such as Patrick Waugh, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, Brett Hull, Eric Lindros, all the big names at that time. And continue to be sold today. But, yeah, players like Ed Jovanovski, John Van Beeswick were starting to get more hobby attention due to the play of the Florida Panthers. So, that's pretty cool. On to this nice little ad here. Pretty cool. I always love seeing the old ads. Right here is talking about NHL Cool Trade. This was a redemption program that was distributed all throughout the 1995-96 products by Upper Deck, Topps, Donruss. All of the card companies, as you can see right here at the bottom, took part in this NHL Cool Trade. So some of these are the cards that you could send in and get redeemed, or were a result of you sending in cards. So right here is some Topps Finest. This is from Score. This is just some different sets. This is Skybox Emotion. Really weird set. Upper Deck, and I believe that's Leaf. But yeah, you got Messier, Cam Neely, Wayne Gretzky, Jeremy Roenick, Mario Lemieux. And then you could just fill this out. Sets are limited by like 50,000 each. Okay, moving on. This is pretty cool. This is for the 96-97 season. Yeah. Teams were allowed to introduce a third jersey, and these are some of the jerseys that were released. There were many more. These were the really nice ones. They didn't even picture the New York Islanders one, which was Captain Fish Sticks. Captain Highliner. A terrible jersey. Just YouTube it. I never was a fan of it, but these are the really nice ones. Just really, really classy looking. Like Boston, LA, Pittsburgh, Anaheim, and Vancouver. And I remember seeing Pavel Bure in that jersey. Mario Lemieux in that one. Joe Thornton. Cam Neely was in that. Wayne Gretzky. Paul Kariya. Just a really cool design. And then right here is just a little article on 91-92 OPG. Just discussing jerseys on cards. This is from Pro Set Platinum 91-92. And this is the original 6. So they had Boston, Chicago, New York, Detroit, Montreal, Toronto, and well, they had the original 6. So yeah, there we go. I may have forgot the original 16. No offense intended, but yeah. So that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, and right here is just some brief articles on some of the current topics. Right here. Right here is an ad for the predictor cards that were inserted in 95-96 Upper Deck. And this is an ad for some of the inserts that were in those sets. So you had the Upper Deck Special Edition. You had the Gretzky inserts. And they were distributed, like, I think, amongst 3 products. 95-96 SP, 95-96 Upper Deck, and Collector's Choice. And the SP were the harder ones to get, if I'm not mistaken. But that's what they look like right there. So he's pictured in his All-Star jersey, the purple one. Pretty cool. So this is more short print stuff, just discussing some of the goings on in the hobby. Yes, so right here, this is the introduction of Ottawa. Right there, short prints. There we go. Paul Calvini from 91-92 Pinnacle, and he was involved in the stock market in the off season. Very smart. I don't know how he made out with that, but yeah, he was involved in the stock market. Here's a Miracle on Ice article. Just on the collectible right there. Let me zoom out so you can pause that and give it a read. And I hope this is working here, because it sure as heck didn't work when I recorded it last. Boy, I'm in pain. An advertisement for 57 Beehive. Wow, look at that. I wish they had a bigger picture done. But there we go. Come on. Let me get that. There we go. 57 Beehive. Some of the retro stuff. And here's Canadian Legends features 6 figures. So this is some figurines that they did. And on this was Maurice Richard, John Beliveau, Bobby Hall, Tony Esposito, Phil Esposito, and Gordie Howe. Yeah, there we go. Pretty good. Pretty good. More collectibles. The Florida Panthers Hockey Club. Now, this was like, Florida was pretty popular. You wouldn't see this today. You might, but not many, because Florida Panthers games tend to be just not well attended. Not much attendance there. I'd love to go see them. They got Huberdeau, Barkov, the Wongles there, so they got some talent, but for whatever reason, they just can't compete with the other sports in the area. Yeah. So there's Reader's Right, and this one made me laugh. What is the blob on the shoulder of the Colorado Avalanche jersey? Now, the blob. Oh, jeez. It's a large, hairy foot. Yeah. That just made me laugh so hard. Yeah, so there's a picture of the blob. But yeah, it's a large, hairy foot, reminiscent of the Yeti, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, what have you. Yeah, right there. There's Jocelyn Tebow. So here's some of what the readers were writing in. You won't see this now in today's Beckett's because everything's online. But just some really cool stuff. Here's the Chris Osgood from 95-96 Parkhurst International. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, 10 minutes. Okay. Pulse of the Hobby. I always found these to be fascinating. So, who have been the best sellers in hockey cards recently? So, someone from Arizona wrote down that it was. Let me see. Sorry. Yeah, from Tucson, Arizona. Not a traditional hockey market. Lemieux, Theo Fleury, Keith DeChuck, Paul Correa, and then popular teams were Penguins, Flyers, Kings, Avalanche, Ducks, and Jets. And so that was one from a card shop owner in the Arizona area. And then from Massachusetts, you had Boston, pretty much. Needy Bork, Kevin Stevens, and some of the older sets were popular. Okay, from New York, you had the. He said, I can push out Rangers, Islanders, Flyers, Kings, Red Wings, Penguins. Some of the new sets right there. Pretty cool. And then for Texas, this is kind of interesting. Forsberg, Korea, Lemieux, Patrick Wall. No Dallas players, oddly enough, but Garland, Texas. Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Okay. Hold on. Among many hockey experts, Coffee doesn't always make the top 10 list of all-time defensemen. I kind of debate that. Then again, there's been a lot of great defensemen throughout the history. That's for another time. Okay, so here we go. Here's the article on Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky hopes his trade to the Blues turns a fifth Stanley Cup dream into reality. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Wayne Gretzky left the Los Angeles Kings to go with the St. Louis Blues. He reunited, or went to join Brett Hull, Al McInnes, Grant Fuhr. Just a stacked team, but for whatever reason, they just did not make it to the Stanley Cup final that year. And Wayne Gretzky was a prolific assistman. Set up assists like crazy, like no one's business. And Brett Hull was just a prolific goal scorer. And the two, for whatever reason, just did not click. So it's not for a lack of trying, it wasn't meant to be at that time. So after this, Wayne Gretzky would go to the New York Rangers, where he would reunite with Mark Messier in 97, a year later. So yeah, that's pretty cool right there. So let me just, if you want to read a little bit of the article, I will zoom in on this. Just pan down quickly. There we go. Okay, this is pretty cool right here. This is the one of Wayne's most desirable 95-96 parallel inserts. Collector's Choice Platinum Players Club. These have a really nice look to them. They're not as expensive as they once were. The market got kind of saturated with them. Still a really nice insert, but these used to go for crazy amounts of money. Actually, when I go to the guide section, I will show you. Hopefully I don't forget. But some of the prices in this in the price guide back in '96 was just insane when you think about it, in terms of what cards are worth today. The hobby's just changed dramatically with just hobby taste and autographed game jerseys and memorabilia, and it's just fascinating when you think about it. I could do a video all just in itself, but I digress. I'm getting off topic. And anyway, here's a nice photo of Wayne Gretzky and Brett Hall, two of the all-time greats. Brett Hall used to get like 90 goal seasons, 86, easily in the early to mid 90s. He was just absolutely amazing. And you know what? Calgary ended up giving up on him, and St. Louis just snagged him up, and boom, he went on to win a Stanley Cup in Dallas in 1999 on a controversial goal that pissed me off. It pissed, angered quite a few people. But you know what? I think Dallas was going to win the cup at that time anyway. They were just a stacked team up against Dominic Hasek and the Buffalo Sabres. So moving on, this is a Olympians 96 ad, okay? And here's a continuation on Wayne Gretzky discussing the card market in St. Louis at the time. So they had a lot of good players that, besides Wayne Gretzky upon his arrival. They had Al McInnes, they had Brett Hall, they had Grant Fuhr, they had Chris Pronger. I think Chris Pronger was on the team at this time. I may be mistaken, but maybe he went for Brendan Shanahan, and that was after this. But either way, St. Louis was set up to be pretty promising, even without Wayne Gretzky. But boom time. Okay. So here's the price guide. Some of the vintage stuff. And we've seen this. I'm going to just, so you can just see some of the cards. And this is interesting. They have the What's Hot right in the middle of the price guide. So they obviously changed this. So right here is What's Hot. You have Mario Lemieux, Chris Osgood, Eric Daze, and 95-96 score Golden Blades. And keep an eye on Daniel Alfredson. So I'll allow you to read this quickly. This Chris Osgood's rookie from 93-94 Donruss, mass-produced, but still pretty cool card to have. Osgood was a vastly underrated goalie in my opinion. He backstopped Detroit to back-to-back Stanley Cups in the mid to late 90s, and I'm still surprised he hasn't made the Hall of Fame. And honestly, I think he deserves to be in it. Might not be the best numbers, but still pretty pivotal in those Detroit championship teams in the mid to late 90s. So anyway, moving on. That's a 95-96 Zenith insert. Mario Lemieux, and that's the Z team. Just beautiful looking. Oh, obviously you can't see it in person, but I'd love to be able to break some of this older stuff open. Zenith was a really high-end card in 95-96 in terms of quality. Just amazing, just nice shine, nice design, originality and everything. Pretty cool. Here's Eric Daze, and there is an article on him later on in the issue, which we will get to shortly. So that's Eric Daze, and that's his rookie right there from 94-95 Finest. And there's the 95-96 score Golden Blades insert, and that would be Peter Bondra on that card. You know what? Some of these I wish they would have had color. Make these glossy, and they did at one point make the Beckett glossy so you could see the color photos. But these pictures don't do these cards justice, like this one and this one. No, they're pretty cool. So, and then also Daniel Alfredson was making his debut at this time, and he was leading the Sens. They didn't have much on that team, but they were an up and young coming team, still developing. Daniel Alfredson was just really dominating on their team, and he made the All-Star game at that time. Pretty cool. Okay, so some of these are just some of the older sets, some old photos. Wayne Gretzky's rookie at this time was $850, and it was trending upwards. And oddly enough, his tops was $450. So 96. Like Patrick Waz was up to $150. This is before he won the Stanley Cup. Just like two months before. So that's pretty cool. Mario Lemieux's rookie was $400. Wow. There you go. Some of the older sets. Here's the late 80s, early 90s. Right there. And horrible 91, 92 overproduced stuff. Still, just, wow. Different time in the hobby then, that's for sure. Eric Lindros, 91, 92 Pinnacle card was what was that? $5? Holy smokes. $6. Wow. Then you got it for probably 50 cents. Not even. Yeah. There's 91, 92 score. That had a lot of good rookies in it, but mass-produced set kind of killed it. Like you had Hall of Famers like Peter Forsberg, Nicholas Lindstrom, a lot of good rookies in these sets, and they almost killed the hobby. They just mass-produced it. It's like someone flicked on the switch for the production belt for designing the cards, and they just went overboard, went crazy. But some of the prices here, it's pretty fascinating to see. Like you have Forsberg at $6. Timu Solani at $6. Eric Lindros' Canada Cup cards, $6. I don't see those prices at all now. But it's just, wow, like, crazy to think about. Nicholas Lindstrom, where's Lindstrom? Lindstrom is only 75 cents, but that would go up after too. So here's some 92, 93 sets. Oh, let's see what Eric Lindros is. Sorry, I shouldn't flip that. But I want to see what Eric Lindros' scorecard was worth. Yeah, Eric Lindros, the Broder was only $5 at this point. Lindros, $8. The Canadian version, $10 or $15. Pretty cool. Yeah, so moving on. Here's some more 90s stuff. Just some more pricing. Paul Kariya's card was worth $10. It was trending upwards. $10 for a Paul Kariya 92, 93 Upper Deck. Wow. And I have a lot of those cards because Steve was on Colorado at one point. So let me show you some of the sets, some of the insert sets, and what they were priced at here now in a moment. So, for example, and this blows my mind, like, wow, a 94-95 score checket of Eric Lindros, $225. Holy jumpins. Wow. That is insane when you think about it. Just insane. Like, some of the inserts were all the craze back then. Like, the Pinnacle Mask, Patrick Wall was going for $100. $100 plus bucks. Look at the Pinnacle Artist Proof. Like, inserts were highly sought after back then. Just crazy. Wow. That's crazy when you think about it. Like the Platinum Players Club, Wayne Gretzky was going for 100 and... Let's see, what does that say? Sorry. $135. Wow. And it was going upward. So, just some of the prices on these are insane. You won't see these values now. But when the sets were new and everyone was still speculating. Wow. Just nuts. So here's some really nice photos of the 90s cards. Pinnacle Mask. Those are nice. They're worth quite a bit. There we go. There's Paul Kariya on Anaheim. Brett Hall. So some really cool. There's a really nice one. I'd like to get that one. Patrick Wall, Stadium Club medalist. Wow. Really cool inserts here. There we go. 95, 96. Pinnacle Z-Team. These were quite expensive. Like, look at that. 300. Holy jumps. Pinnacle Z-Team of Wayne Gretzky. $225. $120. Oh, wow. Like, that is insane when you think about it. Some of the numbers, 110, 175. You won't get that now, you might, but I doubt it, It's just pretty cool to see some of those prices. So anyway, exiting the price guide. Here's some of the shows that they used to have. Calgary, look at all the shows Calgary used to have. Can you imagine? Wow, this is the boom time. Okay, so here's discussing Scott Millenby and the Florida Panthers. Due to hot goaltending, great leadership, solid work ethic, and the oddest of good luck charms, the Florida Panthers are enjoying the year of the rat. So the story goes that Scott Millenby killed a rat in the locker room, and all the fans caught wind of that, and the craze of the rat started. And I think for the most part, they didn't throw real rats out on the ice. I would hope not. But hockey fans can be crazy. But yeah, during their cup run that year, they didn't win the cup, but their Stanley Cup Finals appearance and all that, and everyone was right behind them. So yeah, this is discussing the Florida Panthers and how they were coming into their own. They had so net games talking about John Van Beesbrook, Ed Jovanovski, Robert Svela. Yeah. John Van Beesbrook went to Vancouver from New York Rangers, and then he got picked up in the expansion draft by the Florida Panthers. And that was probably one of their most pivotal pickups in that expansion draft. The kids that play right here, you had Ed Jovanovski, Rob Niedermayer, and Radek Dvorak. Wow, these players were just coming into the league. A lot of potential. Jovanovski turned out a pretty decent career with the Canucks and a few other teams. And here's John Van Beesbrook. Look at that mask card. That's really cool. And these had a hollow foil design, which is really, really cool. So yeah, Premier Padman, some of the older inserts that John Van Beesbrook was pictured on. Mark Fitzpatrick, that was another one. Yeah, never say die, nothing but sweat. Cliche, I know, but it rung true for the Florida Panthers. Here's the legendary tour that took place with some of these players right here. So you have Henry Richard, Alan Cote, Maurice Richard, Gilbert Perreault, Ken Linsman, the Rat, Guy Lafleur, Murray Wilson, Steve Penny. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Like some of these players, and there's a picture of them. There's Maurice Richard. I think he was a ref at this time, official, because he couldn't play. But yeah, they went on tour in the provinces, Alberta and British Columbia. Look at that. That's pretty cool. Lanny McDonald, a young Lanny McDonald before his beard, his mustache fully developed. So he was growing out a pretty red stash there, but then it would just go over his chin, and just an iconic look. It would just grow out huge. I wish I could do the same. Maybe one day. There's Bobby Hall, and there's Maurice Richard too, and John Bellable. Two Montreal Canadiens legends. And sorry, before I flip, here's the legend schedule. So they went to Canada Games Arena in Grand Prairie, Edmonton. They went to Kelowna, Kamloops, Vancouver, Victoria, Seattle. So they went down to the U.S. at one point. Chilliwack, Prince George, and Kitchener, Ontario. Pretty cool, right there. It's just discussing the legends. Pause it if you want to give it a quick read. There's Eddie Shack. I really love the design of that. I wish they'd do a redesign of those cards. But Upper Deck would have to get the copyright permission for those, and it might be hard. Be the card authority on your block. I have some of those, but yeah. And this is an article on Eric Daze. Yeah, so he started off in the 95-96 season. Was a young, promising power forward for Chicago, but his career, unfortunately, just didn't pan out. Still got some numbers, and you know what? Hey, he made it to the NHL, so I can't knock him for that. But for all the potential that he had, he didn't really develop. Chicago was entering their slump at this time, and then in the later on in the 06-07 era, they'd get Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves. They would get Brent Seabrook, Duncan Keith, Corey Crawford, they would be stacked, Anthony Niemi. So they would be a really good upcoming team. But this was when they were entering their slump. Attendance was just abysmal. Jeremy Roenick would leave. He would go to Phoenix, the Phoenix Coyotes when they went there. Ed Belfour would go elsewhere. I think he'd go to San Jose, and then onwards from there he would go on to the Dallas Stars, where he won a Stanley Cup. And Chicago was just, they were struggling for a decade plus. But then it turned around, and now they might be struggling again. So anyway, enough about that. This is just about Eric Daze. Power forward. He was gritty. He was mature, and he was a front runner for the Calder Trophy. So here we go. There's some info on Eric Daze if you want to give it a read. There's two of his cards. These aren't his rookies, but they're his rookie year ones, 95-96. Pinnacle Zenith and the Skybox Impact. You can talk to Beckett experts online. Well, that's great. And right here is an artist rendition of Brendan Shanahan on the Hartford Whalers, number 94, and he would go to St. Louis after this. He would be traded for Chris Pronger. No, that doesn't make sense, because Chris Pronger was on Hartford, so I apologize, that's my mistake. He would go to Detroit after this, and Chris Pronger would go to St. Louis, and then Hartford would ultimately relocate to Carolina. So yeah, that's a pretty cool drawing of Brendan Shanahan, and there's Eric Daze on the back. So that's the April 1996 issue of Beckett Hockey Monthly. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and stay tuned for this one right here. I will get this one up either tonight or tomorrow, but I'll be doing it later. I gotta give my voice a rest. So hope you all enjoyed. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content. Peace all. Take care. Bye.